Hello my friends, Sean Ferrick here for Trek Culture, and I hope you are having a good day. I'm here to change that. No, I'm here today with a little bit of sad news that, if we're honest, is probably not going to come as a massive shock. As per an article released by Variety, Star Trek IV is dead. It was originally touted to be releasing in 2023, but it has now officially been removed from the release slate for next year for Paramount Pictures. Now, what that means is that, obviously, as we know, there was no casting done, there was no script finished, and there was no pre-production started. So this seems like an admission of like, no, it's done. Think about what we've reported to you in the last while, which were at the time, they were fact at the time, but yes, is that the Investors' Day in 2022, Star Trek IV was used as one of the big sells. You know, it's like, yeah, this is happening, we got the whole crew are back. That's what J.J. Abrams said. It's 100%, it is brilliant. Funny timing on that one. Just yesterday, in fact, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Eugene Roddenberry. One of the many things that we discussed was how, in the course of just Hollywood in general, sometimes with the greatest will in the world, projects will be confirmed without any sort of contracts in place, no money changing hands, anything like that, because people are, they might lose the run of themselves, they might get overly excited and say things as absolute fact when it should be, we are at X stage. As we said to ourselves last night, I'll believe it when I see a trailer. And that's where we're at with Star Trek IV, because think about what's happened in the last year alone. It has had several directors attached who have then stepped away. We had Noah Hawley was attached. He's in charge of the series Fargo. Now he's off to do the Alien series for Disney. You also had Mark Shankman, who did so well with WandaVision, has now stepped away. These are big names who were touted, and unfortunately now it seems like there might have been a sense of like, hey, this person is doing it, so will you please sign the document? Please do that, please. It's hardly the first film to ever do that. It won't be the last film to do that. You know, X is involved, and we're going to use that to get Y. Some of the biggest shocks came that after this absolute confirmation that, you know, it was going to happen at the Investors' Day, people like Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana said, sorry, what? Is this confirmed? Okay, it's great, we want to do it, but this is news to us. These are very in-demand characters. If you think now as well that the last film, Star Trek Beyond, that was released in 2016. So 6 years have gone by. Now that's hardly the longest gap between sequels in Hollywood history. One only needs to look at Blade Runner 2049 to know, like, don't worry, don't really put a number on the space between films. Star Trek Beyond made roughly $340 million, right? Now, probably we're both looking at each other going like, yeah, that's several times higher than my annual salary. I would be very happy with $340 million. I mean, if you're offering. But in the great world of Hollywood, you have to offset that with the cost of the film itself. Now, I mean, these are big budget movies. So making $340 million at the box office, while, I mean, yeah, incredible. It's like, but did they make 340? Because you got to take away the production budget. You got to take away the marketing budget. That number starts to get much smaller very quickly. We live in an age where now, like, films are successful when they hit the $1 billion mark, which is not to say you're only successful if you hit the $1 billion, but if you're a big budget movie, you do need to be well into the high 100 millions for it really to turn a profit. That is interesting because if we segue into what Star Trek IV was originally touted at being, which was a time travel story, it would have reunited Captain Kirk with his father, George Kirk. Go back to 2009, and you had, of course, this plucky newcomer, Chris Hemsworth, played the role of George Kirk. With the Marvel series and the Thor movies, Chris Hemsworth has become a megastar in Hollywood, and the price rises accordingly. So in fact, one of the earliest I think this film is in trouble articles that came out was to say that the salary offered to Hemsworth and Pine at the time, who of course his star has only continued to grow with films like the Wonder Woman series, they were going, well, look, this is what we cost now. And your number and this number are not the same number. And it does seem that ever since that first stepping away, Hemsworth has not been touted as coming back. Like that idea seemed to die fairly quickly. Now, Chris Pine, on the other hand, there was a bit of, back and forth. It did seem to come down to money in the end. At least they didn't say it was, scheduling conflicts, because Man, now. It seemed like maybe it was getting there, but keep in mind, we didn't hear, there was no confirmation from Zachary Quinto to return as Spock, nothing about John Cho, nothing about Simon Pegg or Carl Urban, you know, and it was, I think, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it does seem like this has been a long descent into nothing. I don't think that the Star Trek film franchise is dead. One only needs to look at the television franchise and landscape to see that Star Trek's doing fine. But it's doing fine on the small screen, which potentially is where it's always done best. You know, there's been amazing films. I mean, ask me about Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, and you might as well cancel plans tonight, because I'm going to talk your ear off. I would love to see the Kelvin universe visited again, but perhaps on the small screen, which we almost got in Season 3 of Star Trek Discovery. You know, with the character of Yor, and, you know, Kovach's, oh, by the way, there was a Romulan mining ship that created an alternate universe. Sorry, what? Can we expand on that, please? I would like to come back to that point. Yeah. Maybe what we will see is a visit to the Kelvin universe on the small screen. It's not that it would be massively cheaper, but it might be more logistically doable. We don't know. At this point, I'm just like, wouldn't it be nice if, wouldn't it be nice if? So what I will do is that if and when news comes in, we will bring it to you. At the moment, I would possibly take off your Star Trek 4 t-shirts. I think Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home is going to be the only fourth film, at least in the foreseeable future. Now, I must of course segue from the sad news to also the sadder news of the passing of Louise Fletcher. On September the 23rd, 2022, Louise Fletcher, who would be best known to us as Winn in Deep Space Nine, passed away. Now, what an absolute star this performer was. I mean, she was only in 14 episodes of Deep Space Nine, and yet she is one of the most instantly recognizable villains of the series. Here at Trek Culture Towers, the lovely Adam Cleary coined the phrase Space Karen when we're talking about her, and like, it's just stuck so much because she played the role so infuriatingly that you couldn't help but hate her, and yet you knew when she walked onto the set, it was just like, oh, I love her, she is here to mess up people's days. As the series went on, of course, and she got a slightly larger role, particularly with everything that went on with Dukat in Season 7, she just owned it. You know, infuriating as she is, that, you know, the can I speak to the manager attitude of it all was just incredible. And that takes talent. And that is what Louise Fletcher had. And hey, don't take my word for it. Take the Academy Award that she won for her iconic role of Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest back in 1975. This is one of the all-time cinema villains. And again, she plays it with a very similar style to what Kai Winn was. It was the assurance that no matter how terrible the deed, and no matter how annoying, how evil, she thought she was doing the right thing. She is the epitome of no one is the villain of their own story. And she mastered that, absolutely mastered. It was a crying shame. Ira Stephen Bear over the weekend, when, you know, as part of the many tributes that were flooding in for her, said that they just weren't able to sync up getting an interview with her for the amazing documentary What We Left Behind. And it's slightly heartbreaking. We love to hate her, but we love her for it. She was incredible. So our deepest condolences to her family and friends. Now, what I can do to bring the mood back up again a little bit, and I'm very glad to be using Deep Space Nine as the segue here, is that tomorrow for Star Trek Lower Decks, the Ups and Downs will be taking a trip to the Denorius Belt because the Cerritos is visiting Deep Space Nine tomorrow. Now, in case I've played this close to the chest at any point, I'm a DS9 fan. Myself and Chris are literally buzzing with excitement over this one. The episode is called Hear All, Trust Nothing, which is of course one of the rules of acquisition. So I'm calling it now. We're going to see Quark tomorrow. Generally, each week, teaser images are released for each episode of Lower Decks. Now, interestingly, there is no images whatsoever of any familiar characters on DS9. But I mean, you're going to name it after a rule of acquisition. You're going to visit the promenade. You're going to Quark's. I'm so excited because we've had a revisit to The Next Generation. we've had kind of a revisit to Voyager. You know, we get so many mentions of the original series, and it seems like, God bless Star Trek Discovery, it is doing its best to bring Enterprise back into the main. Where has DS9 been? I did not know they were saving it for Lower Decks, but you know what? I'm here for it. So I'm so happy. I'm assuming we're going to get Quark, and I'm hoping we're going to get Kira. Both of those might happen, neither of those might happen. And if neither of them happen, get ready for an angry Sean during Ups and Downs tomorrow. I will be an angry young man. Let's see. We might put these two clips together in the Ups and Downs tomorrow, and I might have just given Chris a headache by saying that. But so excited. Are you excited for Lower Decks this week? Of course you are. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, for sharing, and for subscribing. I mean, look at the numbers. You are really helping the channel grow. Thanks so much, everyone. Just on a serious note, our friends in Ukraine, I know this has been in a difficult year. This has been a difficult week. So please know that we are behind you. Stay strong. Keep going. You are doing amazing. And to our friends in Iran, your bravery is incredible. Incredible. We are behind you 110%. Please stay strong and stay safe. Everyone, live long and prosper. You look after yourselves. Make sure that however long it is until I see you again, have a great time. Make it so. Thanks so much, everyone. Remember, you can catch us over on Twitter at TrekCulture. You can catch myself at Sean Ferrick as well.